Hello and welcome back to Seaside Garage. Today I'm going to change the two rear tires on the Adolescent Princess. I was lucky to find two used tires that are in okay condition, and the rear ones on the Princess are always deflated when I go to pick it up, and also it got a lot of cracks on the sidewall and all that, so they are no good. The front tires on the car is actually pretty good. Remember, this car's not been off the road for that long actually, so they will be okay for now at least. I'm trying to keep costs down a little bit at the moment, so therefore I have bought two used tires. They seem to be all right, at least for this, because my main goal is really to be able to move it from my facility, my storage facility, to my garage without having to pump up the tires all the time. And also the tires I found are good enough for an MOT at least. Maybe they are good enough for a bit of Sunday driving. I don't think I'm going to use this as a daily anyway, so that'll be fine. Let's take the tires off, get them off the rim, put some new rubbers on and balance them. And all I'm going to use is old school, pretty analog kind of tools to do it with. The tires on this, or the rims on this, is pretty cool looking. Some even think at first glance that it's alloy wheels, but it's just a plastic cap on a steel rim and then a chrome ring out here. It should be possible to just remove like that. And then it's just an old school rusty rim. Next up, I want to take all the air out of the tire using one of these, which makes it possible to take out the inner part of the valve and let out the air. And now we want to break the rubber free from the rim. It gets stuck over time to the rim. We're going to do that by laying it on the ledge right there, and then use this to press down on. There we go. It is now loose. All around. Let's flip it. Like that. By spinning this, I can make this go out, and these small balls can hold on to the rim. And then I'm going to use this homemade pry bar, not made by me, but it's really usable to pry the rubber. Like that. And then by pressing with my hip, I can turn it. And it's kind of hard work. If you need to do this every day, this tool is going to destroy you. I'm doing this a couple times a year, and it's fine for that. And then just push all the way around. There we go. Yeah, I am fighting this tool a little bit because it lets go of the rim all the time. It's just a bit worn and slightly home built, but it works. So now with the top of with half the tire off, then we just need to, like that. And then it's just a matter of doing the same, going around. There we go. It is off. It's not easy, but it's possible. Next up, I'm going to remove the valve because I suspect that could be at fault as well. So I'm going to change that with a new one. Like that. And then I'm gonna clean some of all this rust scale off on the rim. I might paint it, but not today. The old weights are going to be removed because when I fit a new tire, I will need to put on new weights because it's not necessarily the same. Like that. And before fitting the tire, I'm going to add some tire cream or soap to this side. I think some added to the rim. I like to do it on the tire. It just needs to be lubricated for to make it easier to get it on. One thing though, on a new tire, and also on an old tire if it hasn't disappeared, there's supposed to be a ring, a yellow and a red ring somewhere that indicates the heaviest point or the lightest point, considering which of the spots you go after on the tire. That needs to align to the valve or opposite of the valve, because the valve is the heaviest point on the rim. I didn't know that, and I have put a lot of wheels on and balanced them without, but you might end up having to use a bit more weight. So, but on this one, it's not visible anymore. Maybe. Oh, wait a second, I think it's there. I'm going to assume this is the point. So I'm going to put that opposite of the valve. I could be wrong though. It will just need more weights if it is wrong. And then we're just going to put it on. There we go. And then the other side of it. And one tip is it's important to get the tire low enough on the opposite side that you're trying to fold over, that it gets into the lower part of the rim and not the higher part, because it will be impossible to get it on if you don't. Like that, it's on. Let's pump some air into the tire. We need the tire to pop into position. Be a bit careful about that, because if it jumps off the rim again, then it will be at a pretty high pressure. Like that. There we go. The tire is fitted. Now we need to balance it. And for that we're going to use the amazing Bispart, I think it's called. And firstly we need to change this, because this doesn't fit this tire. This one do though. I'm just going to loosely fit it, because we need to align the rear side of the rim with this. Then line it up. Like that. So before using the actual machine, what we need to do is a static balancing of the wheel, because right now it's like that. If I turn it all the way around here, half 180 degrees to this point and release, if it stays there, then it's okay, static balanced. As you can see, it is moving. So now we just need it to move until it finds the resting spot This seems to be the resting spot. This tells me that the lower part of the wheel right now is slightly heavier than the top part. Not a lot, it really seems to turn slowly. So I'm gonna start with a small 10 gram piece of weight. Now if I turn the tire all the way around, so the high or the heavy spot is now right here, and let go. It should stay there if it's enough. Let's just turn it 90 degrees and see if it still stands. Yeah, that's fine. So now we need the dynamic balancing. To do this, we need a piece of paper. We're going to put into this. Like that. Then we need to spin up the tire, first in one direction, then in the other direction, and put the pen onto the paper. And then I will show you more later. Let's try that. First, in number 1 position. Like that. And then the pencil onto the paper. And then we just have to wait. Maybe you can see the tire is starting to wobble a little bit. Getting worse and worse now. Looking at the paper, you can see that it is now making a circle that gets bigger and bigger. Now it's really intense. Woo! So this is the pattern after going one way. Now we need to go the other way. And then we're just gonna let it spin and spin and spin. And make a drawing on the paper. We are coming up to the wobbly spot in a second, I think. Now it starts, and this is what makes the vibration in a car if you haven't got the wheel balanced. Then at certain speeds the car will shake, maybe the steering wheel if it's the front axle, or the rear of the car if it's the rear axle, and then this happens. And this will wear on everything in the suspension and be very unpleasant, of course. And there we go. And now comes a very big difference between an old school machine and a new one. Now we have to do the calculating ourselves. Normally on a new machine it would just state how many grams you had to put someplace. Not on this one. What we're going to do is look at the drawing. This point where the two circles meets in a valley points the direction of the weight. Surprisingly, it's the same spot as the inner weight. This weight is going on the outside, by the way. So that's the spot we need to put it on. Then we need to measure it. The width of the drawing. I say that is 33.3 millimeters. Then I'm going to find the tire size, 185 on 14 rims. That equals number 3 on this chart. Then we're turning the chart. Find number 3. Find 3.3 or 33 millimeters. That equals pretty much bang on in the middle of a 40 gram and a 50 gram. So, and by following the pointy bit on the drawing, I get it to this area. This is where we are going to fit this one, like this, and then we're going to redo the test. As you can see, it's not completely just a spot, but it is much better. Let's try the other direction. So this is the result. It is not perfect. I could do some fine adjusting. I measure this to around 12 millimeters, which means that we have around, I think, maybe 5 or 10 grams off balance. I could go ahead and fine adjust this, but I don't really care. Not at the moment, and I don't think this will be something you will feel, especially not on the rear axle. But this is how it works. And you can use a lot of time trying to make it perfect, but this is good enough for now. The fact is, we went from this to this. Improvement! So I just need to do the other tire as well. Then we have two newly used tires on the rear axle on the Princess, and I will no longer have to bring a compressor each and every time I have to pick the car up. And also this will be fine to go through the MOT. It is not completely in balance, but I don't think it will be something you will feel in this car, especially not on the rear axle. It would be really noticeable if I hadn't added those weight, because it was really out of balance to begin with. So it is crude tools, but they work just fine. I would like to get a better tire machine because it's not the best, and I can't do alloy wheels on it. But the balancing machine, it's perfect for me. Anyway, thank you for watching, and see you in the next one.